You found the Beards and Badges podcast. The podcast where coffee is strong, beards are questionable, and training is non-negotiable. If you've ever cleaned your gun at midnight, trained on your day off, or wondered why your gear keeps getting heavier, you're in the right place. No fluff, no safe spaces, just experience, laughs, and lessons learned the hard way. So beard check, make ready, and let's send some freedom seeds. All right, well, another episode of Beards and Badges podcast. And today we're going to talk about you guys, the training company, and all that is offered and how to get better at shooting and how to get better at protecting yourself and not being a FUD on the range.
That's right on. So the old defense specialist training team?
The old defense specialist training team.
By goodness.
It's not the old, it's just defense specialist training team.
Yeah.
We hadn't made it old yet.
No. It's still a young pup.
Yeah.
Did y'all just have a class the other day? Is that right?
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Actually, it was one of the better groups of people as far as new shooters and everything that we've had in a long time. It was kind of refreshing. We had, didn't have any real safety issues or anything like that, and it was
No, and we had some some older folks that
Yeah.
you don't judge people. But I was looking, I was like, oh crap, like keep an eye on that one, and then
no.
It was good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Which class was it? What was it for?
It was a concealed carry class.
Cool.
Just the basic concealed carry, which
Yeah.
I really wish that it would just be the enhanced, but yeah, just the basic concealed carry classes.
So,
That feller is in a hurry.
Yeah.
Did you hear him?
Yeah.
I hope he gets there quickly.
I hope he makes that curve. That's what I'm saying.
oh,
Not here. We all know that doesn't happen here.
No. No.
Oh, man, yeah. So, y'all offer a bunch of different classes and more to come, I think, right? I should have the website
yeah.
pulled up.
Yeah,
But-
that's kind of the hopes, rather.
hopes.
Yeah.
Pull her
Yeah,
up.
the hopes.
So recently y'all had the basic concealed carry class.
Yep.
Which is essentially like just with anybody else, the basic carry class. But I think y'all, especially like when I went through it, y'all do a great job of like really helping people instead of just checking a box of like, oh, good, you put 50 rounds on target, and we talked through the laws and stuff. Like, I think y'all did a great job of like explaining it and going through stuff legitimately and not just like clicking through it or just signing off on somebody that really probably shouldn't have it.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Whenever we first even started talking about starting a training company, it wasn't a thing of, I don't know. It was we saw so many bad things between people that do have their concealed carry permits, and just talking to them and seeing what kind of training that they've been through, and a lot of different horror stories about what concealed carry instructors have shared with them and everything. And that was kind of the starting point of, man, with us being in law enforcement, and we do know the laws and the pros and the cons and all that other kind of stuff. I think we would have a really good platform to truly let people know, hey, this is what the law says, and this is what you need to be aware of, the importance, the level of responsibility. And even if you don't have a concealed carry permit and you do opt the constitutional carry, there's still a level of importance and responsibility that you have to understand. So that was kind of the starting point of, well, what if we got our concealed carry instructor licenses and we started teaching concealed carry and helping people out. And that's kind of where it started. And then it was like, well, what if instead of just doing, because a lot of shooting classes that we see, it's one end of the spectrum or the other. It's either that dude that he really likes guns, and he's seen a lot of YouTube videos, and he wants to share his knowledge with people. And then you got the other end of the spectrum where we're in full kit and we're going into assaulting, and I'm gonna be this badass combat shooter and all this other shit. There has to be a happy medium between the two. And it was like, well, first, to become a good shooter, you got to build a solid foundation. Same thing as building a house or anything else. So what if we started from the ground up, and instead of doing some dumb, well, I can't say dumb, but some unrealistic high-speed training with people, well, first let's see what their skill set is, because most shooters are not good shooters. And
They think they are.
They think
the
they-
confidence
they do.
is there.
They
the
do.
confidence is there until you get to shooting and it's like,
Yeah.
And that's one question that we ask every single class that we teach. Hey, and Smith's usually the one that talks to people about it. Like, what's your experience? How long have you been shooting? Blah 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 blah. And quite a few people, especially in rural areas, we go, I've been shooting all my life. I've been shooting since I was 5 years old, 10 years old, whatever. My dad, my grandpa, whoever, uncle, brother, whatever. And I'm like, cool. And then we get on the range, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Sure, today's not your first day.
You may have pulled the trigger a bunch of times,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
accountability
yeah.
for some of those rounds is not always there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely like a check your ego thing. Like
Yeah.
when I asked that question, especially here in Arkansas, everyone's grown up around guns. They've been shooting rifles all their life, and that's a lot of the answers I'll get is, I've been shooting all my life. Been primarily rifles, blah blah blah. And they, it's talked up, but like, you just want to tell people, like, check your ego. Like, if you're a brand new to shooting a pistol, like, cool, we can work with that. But a lot of people have this false, like, I've been shooting all their life, I'm an expert at it. No, you're not.
Well, I think
You're
so many
not.
people think too, like they grew up shooting rifles,
It
and
transfers
they're
over.
like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna get a pistol and I'll be good," And it's like, "Whoa, no, hang on,
Different
like,
world, man.
Yeah, it's a totally different world."
Yeah.
Okay, pause 1 second. Do you need to turn your hat around? Because it has your agency on it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make sure it's not seen.
It's all blacked out.
Yeah.
Stop.
Your hat's crooked.
I'll make sure you can't see it in the first part. But,
All good. What an idiot. Oh, it's me. Sorry. Anyway.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
It's beautiful.
Anyway, go ahead.
So you got the basic, then you got the enhanced.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's just the two concealed carry options in Arkansas
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. And
As far as the classes go,
Yep.
the enhanced is it's longer. There's more time on the range. There's a minimum qualification that has to be met that the state has set up. And we spend a little more time on the law because it does expand your areas that you're allowed to carry. So it's more of a full 8-hour day course with a couple hours on the range. So yeah, that one, and I like that one because the one big thing I like about that one is the time that we get to spend on the range and the fact that there is a minimum qualification that must be met. And as an instructor, even on the law enforcement side, I want to be able to say that I can attest to this individual's level of proficiency, accuracy, and if I'm either, like, I've heard from several people that going through the basic concealed carry, their instructor's just like, just dump 5 rounds. Just dump some rounds in that piece of paper. You're good to go. Well, are you?
Yeah. And what I've heard a lot is like some of the basic. They're like, "Oh, it's not really as much as you hit. It's just about you manipulating the gun safely." And I'm like,
I've heard that too.
Okay, but
Yeah, it's
man,
like-
that's terrifying to be like, "Oh, I have no idea the accountability downrange."
Right.
But I'm not going to shoot myself with it. Okay, cool. Like, man, that's a big gap. That's a big window.
Yeah.
And so
Margin
much
of error.
subjectivity.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah. Oh man, I
Margin
can't
of error is
imagine.
big.
Well, and the safety aspect is not just for you as the end of the carrier.
Yeah.
The safety is really more for everybody
Everyone
else.
around you. Yeah.
And it's like, all right, cool. Most of the time, we're not pointing the muzzle at ourselves, but if we're not pointing it at ourselves, we're pointing it at something else.
Yep.
Instructors.
So, yeah, yeah.
And that's what like, my first class was that way. I mean, he did not care if we hit the target at all. It was just safety of doing it there. And I was
No
like,
kidding.
Yeah. And
Wow.
so, but there were only
Thanks.
3 of us
Yeah.
there. And so me, my brother, and this other guy. And
So each of you had a 33.333333339% chance of shooting one or the other.
yeah,
Because
no, I guess
three
with
of you.
with the
Well,
instructor,
yeah,
so
you
it'd
get
be
25%.
Yeah.
25%.
So,
You got to
went
include the
down.
instructor. He's
Yeah.
out there too.
yeah. And I was more worried about him. When I had seen the guy that morning, like when he came in and like brought his gun in, it was fully loaded.
Yeah.
Like, but he didn't have it on him. He just had it off in a holster, fully loaded in an Uncle Mike's holster.
Oh my God.
That then tells us, oh, I forgot to bring the one I was going to. I just grabbed this one from under my seat.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go.
And so he didn't check it before he came in or anything. And like the whole thing, I was like, from the beginning, I was sketched out. But again, like you said, super confident. And he was an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, I've been doing this my whole life. I let mine lapse or whatever, so I got to redo it. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that, man. Like, okay. And then we get out there and like, those safety standards were real low. Like,
Yeah.
really low. And again, it gets me like, I've seen a couple guys, because I've been around 2 other classes when they happen, that I was like, you don't even know how to manipulate your own gun. Like, you're having problems putting rounds in a magazine, putting the magazine in the gun, and making it hot before we're even pulling the trigger, and you're having problems with that. Or your gun's immediately. This is what frustrates me the most: is when you're at a shoot or something, and somebody's gun is jamming the whole time, and just functionally is not working correctly, and you're just like, you knew you were coming out here today, like.
It's my first time shooting it.
Yeah, whenever I went and did mine, like, I had literally been at the range the week before and shot a ton
Got to make sure I'm good.
just to make sure everything's fine. And then,
Wait, I'm only shooting
Like-
5 rounds.
yeah. Oh, man. And yeah, that was the other thing. I didn't even shoot a full box of ammo.
That's
And I was like, I thought that was one of the qualifications was you had to shoot 50 rounds. But you didn't care. Like,
well,
basic.
okay.
under the basic, and this is one thing I really don't. I don't know. I don't like under the basic. The instructor is allowed to come up with their own course of
Right.
fire. The enhanced, it is the state
written.
says you will do this course of fire, and they will score this in order for them to be
Yeah.
qualified. So yeah,
And it's still not a hard
no,
test to take.
no. Like most of the time on the enhanced, we tell people to bring at least 200 rounds.
Yeah.
And then we'll take 50 rounds, set them off to the side. That's your qualification. We're going to go work on some stuff because we'll start even on the basic course. The first thing we do is get everybody on the line, make sure that they know how to manipulate their weapon, know what the different functions of the weapon are. If they've got a safety, how to activate, deactivate the safety. If they're running some autos, make sure that they can do the mag change, their slide lock, slide stop, whatever you want to call it, and just make sure. And then we have them do dry fire drills. And we're looking at their grip, their trigger press, make sure. I had this one guy, I guess it was 2 classes ago. He had this. He was running a old piece. I don't know what the hell it was. It looked like a high point, but it wasn't a high point. But he had this thing where he's gripping the gun here,
no,
and
you
his
don't.
thumb is back behind where that slide's coming back. And I'm like, hey, dude, you're gonna eat your hand.
Nope.
So. And then I'd get his thumb adjusted, get it back over where it needs to be. And I'd look back up, and his thumb's back behind there. And it got to the point where I'm trying to peel his and he's
Fighting it.
I'm like, dude, you are going to eat the shit out of your hand. That is, and you're going to also interfere with the function of your weapon. You're going to get malfunctions. Sure shit. Almost every single time he pressed.
And he-
oh, this thing's jamming again. Well, your thumb's fucking up your fucking gun.
It
I
wasn't
shouldn't
like
have said that.
cutting him or anything. Like he wasn't.
No, he
wasn't worried about that slide hitting him
Nah,
hard or
he's
anything.
getting
but-
bit.
He was bleeding.
He's getting bit.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
some people just have to learn the hard way, and then they still don't learn.
Yeah. Well, going back to the thing you said about, and we see this frequently, where people go out there and their weapons are constantly malfunctioning. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, first off, this is a piece of life-saving equipment. if it is malfunctioning, either A, the gun, there's something messed up, your extractor, your ejector, your springs are bad, something is wrong with this gun, it's super freaking dry, or the ammo, it doesn't like the ammo, something, you got to figure that out. But people have the assumption of, oh yeah, I just pick up the gun, put bullets in it, and I press the trigger. Well, if I press the trigger and it goes click instead of bang, one, what do I need to do to get it back in?
Yeah.
But two, if I've got a gun that is malfunctioning more than it's actually functioning, I need to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Or figure out what the hell.
And I never understood that when people buy like cheap, because when I worked at the gun shop, people all the time would be like, oh, I just want something a little cheap. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
this is worth your life? Like, this is what you're going for here?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, people don't want to spend money on something that like is gonna potentially save their life and others.
No.
And it's like, and I heard another guy one time that was like, oh yeah, I've got all these nice guns, but I don't carry them because, you know, if something ever happens and they get taken, there's no way I'm getting them back. Because he was carrying Kimbers, and he was like, if I got to use this thing, there's no way I'm getting it back the way it went in. And I was like, what do you care? Let's say it is a $1,200 Kimber. If that gun, I have to use it, and it saves my life, and I'm able to use that, and it goes into lockup or whatever, great. My life was worth more than $1,200.
I would
Yeah,
like to
fine.
think so. I'd like to think so, yeah.
It's okay.
I want a Kimber.
Yeah, if I've got a special gun, then I'm just going to keep it secured. I'm not going to carry it.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to put a high quality weapon in my hands.
Yeah.
And
Reliability.
Yeah, I don't want to put something on me that's not going to go bang when I want it to go bang.
I'm not going to have my fancy guns
Or
in
something
the
that's,
safe and then run a...
you know, not going to go bang when you don't want it to go bang.
True.
Yeah.
Go bang when you not want
Go bang when
Yeah.
you don't want it to go.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
would be bad.
That could be,
That'd be
especially
bad.
depending on where you carry the thing.
Yeah. You get
Yeah.
real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that gets into the other part of it that those two classes really don't get into, but that actually is carrying your weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of goes into the basic pistol training course that you offer.
Yeah. So going back real quick. So, yeah, like, you know, I've been through a concealed class, and it was like 10 years ago, but it was briefly run through laws, which no one's going to remember. And then 20 rounds, you worked, or you were safe about it, you passed, there you go. What we've broken it down to is, you know, obviously we cover the laws pretty well. We actually give handouts, or we give, you know, where they can pull it up. But then we also go over equipment as far as, you know, we don't want to see Uncle Mike's. No. But we go over equipment, encounters with law enforcement. I mean, we added a lot of stuff that we thought was very vital to the person that's going to be carrying. Because anyone can throw a gun on their waist, but it doesn't make him a good shooter. It doesn't make him safe. It doesn't make it. At the end of the day, it could be detrimental if the wrong person's carrying. But we had a lot of that stuff. But then, like in all of our, time on the range, we go through a lot of. It's not a shooting class, so we don't have that time to actually dive into everything we want, which is why we offer other classes. But we still take that time to go over a lot of the fundamentals and safety stuff, because you know, like the guy we were just talking about, it's like we caught that pretty early. We could have prevented that, but he still wanted to do it, so it is what it is.
My dad has several horror stories of like 10, 15 years ago going through classes, and there were like 100 people in the class, and they just lined them all up at these bays, and just the craziness of some of the people. A lady that brought a full box, and she hadn't even like broken the seal on it yet, and her husband had just bought it the day before and gave it to her and sent her to this class. Didn't come himself, but just went, and she had only ever shot when he was around and loaded it for her and done everything, and she had no idea how to do anything, and they're having to wait on her, you know, to cycle through actually shooting, and the whole time she was just pointing the gun everywhere and like getting excited that she hit the target and all that stuff. And it's like, okay.
So, and that's I mean, that's crazy. That's a huge safety violation all around. And it's like, for like the students, they don't want to be exposed to that.
Right.
And there's rules and stuff that as far as the range we use, that avoids a lot of that.
Yeah.
That's why we do dry fire first, to make sure everyone is being safe. And we tell them too, we'll go over that stuff and I don't care what level, we don't care what level shooter you are. This is your first time picking up a pistol. That's cool. We can get you through the class. We're going to go over a lot of stuff probably at the range before you actually fire around. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. And then we always tell them at the end of the day, it's up to that shooter to continue training, because they are going to be carrying now. It's a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And a lot of people do think, and because we have to tell them in the class, especially on the concealed carry class, this is not a shooting class. Mm-hmm. This is not designed to teach you how to shoot, to improve your proficiency, your skill level, anything like that. It is designed to give you the law, let you know what the law says you can and cannot do, and to give you, and like you said, we go and cover belts, the important of why it's important to have a good rigid belt. Holsters, we like Klinger holsters. That's what we run. That's what we like. But just explaining to them the importance of a holster and what to look for in a holster, and even things as simple as the clothing. If you're going to carry in your waistband, make sure you're not wearing clothing that's skin tight. There's multiple options, but just going over all that with them to try to get people into the mindset.
I don't wear skin tight clothing.
I don't either. It's so uncomfortable.
I can't do it. I've got to have it loose.
Have you ever worn leggings?
No. Have you?
Good answer.
Well,
I guess long johns would be close.
Yeah, that's
one thing I can think of.
Okay. But I've never, although
not by themselves.
Speaking of which, the other day we went and did a little bit of fly fishing.
Oh yeah.
And on the way back, it was chilly that morning, so dressing appropriately, and I was wearing wader pants, and I think you were wearing
regular pants.
Pants and
wader pants.
Regular pants.
Yeah. And I ended up never putting my waders on. And our buddy, he was wearing wader pants.
Wader pants.
So we were like, hey, let's stop at this particular restaurant on the way back and get something to eat. And everybody's like, oh, I should have worn pants. I'm like, well, you're wearing pants. He's like, no, I'm wearing long johns. So we went.
They had a hole. They had a hole. I didn't notice it until he called it out.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
So he's walking around this restaurant in fucking long johns.
with
That's
the
awesome.
hole in the
I guess I have kind of like...
They were black, so it looked
yeah.
like,
It looked like
I went duck hunting one time and had a pair of sweats that were a little tight, and then my waders had a hole in them, and so my pants
like
had just
you
gotten
peed.
soaked, so they were nice and sucked in.
compressed.
And we went in, and I was like, yeah, this is a little tighter than I'd like it to be right now, but whatever.
Yeah.
Own it.
Yeah, I don't care.
No, I've never worn leggings in public. I don't think that would be appropriate.
I don't think you should call them leggings.
No, like the legit spandexy leggings.
Like women's leggings?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you shouldn't call them leggings.
That's what they're called.
Yeah,
Aren't they-
they
isn't
got to
it?
be called something else.
I don't know. Are they for dudes? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think thermals maybe. Like
No, I'm
Like, are you
I mean,
talking
no.
something different than thermals or long
Yeah,
johns?
the
not
legit
women's
leggings.
Okay,
leggings.
Yes. They,
Yes, women's leggings.
Yeah,
You have a pair of, like-
No. I don't own a
bet
pair.
they make your
Although,
butt
Well, you
look
said
great.
not in public, so...
well, no. Like I do have
You
a pair
wear
of.
women's clothes
Do I wear women's clothes?
Yeah.
Why did you ask that question?
because you're saying
That's
you
what
wear
you
leggings.
said.
No, I don't wear women's
Okay.
clothes.
All right.
Although I did wear an apron one time.
This is the apron that I saw.
Yeah,
Recently.
that's a good apron.
We should.
But no, I do have a pair of thermals that look like leggings. I think they're called hot chilies. Those are great.
See, but those I'm not calling those leggings.
But they don't have the little hole thing to pee out of. Maybe I did buy a women's pair. Shit.
no, I know what the hot chili
Because
you're talking
no,
about.
I wore those
They're
the
not
other day, and I was thinking,
leggings, though.
okay, where's the spot to pee out of? And I was, because I've turned them front, and I've worn them before, but I've never paid attention. And they didn't have a tag indicating which is front, which is back. So I just wore them. Now that I'm thinking about it, do they make Could I have bought a pair of
Did you
women's
get them
leggings?
from your wife's?
No, they're in my fly tying room. I got all my fly fishing stuff together.
No, I know what you're talking
And
about, but
it's-
I don't call those leggings. We really
Those are
spiraled out of
thermals.
control
Yeah.
here.
No, leggings are the legit thing that you see people out walking around in
Yeah,
public.
women.
Dudes wear that stuff too. I don't think they have the pee hole.
All right, agree to disagree. Leggings are women's. Anyway,
Yeah.
So buy proper gear. Make sure
Buy
they're
proper
men's
gear.
thermals, not women's thermals.
Yeah.
make sure they have a people.
Yeah.
Those hot chilies are good though.
They are. They are
super
really
warm.
good. I like those. They don't stick to your clothing. You know, some of those thermals.
yeah.
You know, you're a duck hunter. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. But those hot chilies, they don't.
I gave up wearing them, and I like, especially if I'm duck hunting, I just wear sweatpants, like a thick pair of sweatpants.
yeah.
I don't mess with them.
That works.
My size, they don't.
Whatever. Hey,
the compression
whatever-
thing doesn't go right.
whatever keeps
And
you
I just feel like
warm.
I'm sitting there like pulling them up all day.
I do like the breathable waders over the neoprene.
100%.
They are the way
yeah.
to go.
Okay. Yes. Especially when you're at my size, they do not make neoprene ones that are for guys because it feels like I'm trying to like stuff a sausage. Like it is the worst thing ever.
Good for you.
When I first started like really duck hunting and filming a bunch of duck hunting podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
Or not podcasts, but videos and pictures. The first season that I went out there, I had neoprene because I didn't know. That's all I had ever known.
Yep.
And I'm like, man, these guys are getting their waders on really fast. I'm like, I guess they're just skinny guys. Like, it makes sense. And then I realized the difference between
Yeah.
breathable and neoprene.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, yeah, I'm rolling these things on.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. Yeah, I will never go back.
I hate neoprene waders.
Yes. Oh, I've got a
Breathable.
pair if you want a pair.
Nope. I got
Okay.
breathable. I'm
No.
good. Good.
Talk about a rabbit hole.
Yeah. So, equipment, which kind of brings us to the next class.
Oh yeah, the basic.
So, the
pistol.
basic pistol training.
pistol. Yep.
So go over that. What does that kind of entail? What are you trying to get out of the class? What's somebody going to get out of the class? What's the goals for
I mean,
it?
basically, I get exactly what it's called, basic, and it's like as far as the students, the shooter. I mean, it can be anyone from just picked up a gun, zero experience, I want to learn, to someone who has a little and they want to get better. To, I mean, we'll get to this skipping ahead, but we offer an advance, but we do prefer people to go to the basic before advance. Just it shows us, like as far as anything like range safety, kind of where they are at as a shooter and things we can build off of. But the basic is from ground up. I mean, I'll let you hit more on it, but it's everything.
Yeah, we do a lot of. We start them out just like you're saying, just working on that grip and the presentation of the weapon. If they're running a dot, making sure that they're presenting correctly for that. If they're running irons, get them working through, just making sure that they understand everything. And then as the class progresses, we work into the draw and then working on wherever it is that they're going to carry that they can access that weapon quickly, safely. Everything that we do starts dry. We run through several times just to make sure everything's good, everybody's comfortable with it, and then we'll move into doing live fire from the draw, and then on the target engagements we change up the type of target, the size of the target, and just to get out of that training scar of using the exact same target over and over and over and over again, and really become more threat focused and be very aware of what I as the shooter, what I'm doing to that weapon under recoil. And we don't like teaching a whole lot of precision shooting. Getting them to find the mechanics of that trigger, where that trigger's breaking, feeling that recoil, learning all of that. Sometimes just to get them under to kind of understand what's happening to that weapon, we'll do a little bit, but most of the time we try to push people to shoot just a little bit faster and really learn how to manage that recoil and keep control of that weapon. But yeah, that's it. And we progress throughout the entire day.
Yeah.
And then by the end of it, I mean, people are coming out, getting a nice clean draw, good clean hits on target. The other thing we try to put emphasis on is shooting from realistic distances. I know some instructors, they like to take dudes out like 25, 35 yards and all this other stuff. And that could be realistic, but most of the time it's not. But once you do get, and it is good to shoot at distance because I need to know what my capabilities are.
Yeah, in case you're ever in a mall and have to shoot a guy.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, and we explain all the reasons and the process instead of just do this because we're telling you.
Yeah.
But we also understand everybody's different. Hand size is different. Grip strength is different. Arm length. All of that stuff is different. And there's not one way to grip a pistol that is going to work for everybody. There's not one amount of pressure. I mean, some dudes, they can squeeze the shit out of that gun with both hands, and they can still independently press that trigger with just the index finger, and they're badass shooters. Not everybody can do that. Some people have to not have as much pressure, and just so we work through all of that stuff with them and find what works best for them. And as long as they're managing and being safe, and all right, cool, we'll progress on.
What I really appreciated in that class was the full progression, because when I went through it with y'all, there were people that had never put a gun on them to carry. Mm-hmm. Like they had shot some before and done some stuff, but they had never really carried or learned anything. But going from, baby steps all the way up to, by the end of the day, everybody was pulling from concealment, put shots on target, doing really well. And to see that progression that quickly was awesome. Just from realistic expectations and realistic training. Mm-hmm. But I think, too, it just, laid the groundwork for a lot of people of, oh, now I've heard this, now I've done this a little bit, I have a little more confidence doing it, mm-hmm. and I know what I need to practice or do on my own and how to do that. Because I'll talk a ton about, hey, just do reps dry firing, coming out of concealment. Because if you're not used to doing that, you're going to mess it up. Yeah. And make it very unsafe for yourself very quickly. Mm-hmm. But even working with everybody on different body types and where to carry and things like that and what's best, or hey, try this, or different things was awesome the whole day too.
Yeah. Glad you enjoyed it.
I did. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And we are. I've been through. He and I both have been through a lot of training over the years where the instructor is. I'm not saying that my way is the way, but my way is the way. Yeah. And in some of those classes, I'm like, well, yeah, your way is not working for me at all. And I'm trying to do what the hell you're telling me to do. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Why mm-hmm. am I doing this? What is the added benefit? How is it going to help me improve as a shooter? Help me manage my weapon? And so it's a thing where everybody is different. Yes, there is a good way to grip the gun. And that it comes down to the grip. Back in the day, we taught the 7 fundamentals of shooting, and there are to build the groundwork, absolutely. But one of the things that when it comes to your stance, is it important when I'm building the groundwork? Yeah, but then like yesterday in our competition,
shooting.
Yeah, we're standing on one foot, leaning around some shit. Mm-hmm. But if I haven't built that foundation, then it's very difficult because I have to understand the dynamics of the gun and shooting. And if I haven't built that and I haven't established that foundation, then
do you think that was harped on so much mainly because guys were they were doing their qualifying just on that flat range, mm-hmm. and they were like, if we're going to get this right here. Mm-hmm. Just to help you shoot better on that flat range versus actually moving and stuff, or I guess does it help with both?
I think
you
a lot of
the principles kind of build up on
Well, see, whenever I first started learning how to shoot, there was no instruction on the principles of shooting. Mm. It was just point the gun in that direction, stand just like this, and do exactly what I tell you to do. And a lot of that, I think, came from, that was the mentality of things getting passed down. This has worked, so this is how we're going to keep doing things. And instead of looking at it from the perspective of, okay, how can we get better? How can we get safer? because there was never any kind of training for shooting on the move or shooting from unorthodox positions. It was never a thing. It was just, you do this. It's like, yeah, but I want to do something different. And even still today, there are still a lot of instructors, even in the academies. They're the dudes from back in the day, and they're still teaching people. I mean, we just had some dudes get out of the academy, and when I get them out on the range, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Well, that's how you're supposed to shoot. No. No. We got one buddy in a different state. They're before they do a mag change, like if they run their weapon dry, slides locked to the rear, instead of just getting that gun back in battery, they have to visually inspect, look through, make sure that the magazine is empty, check the chamber, make sure there's not a round in the chamber, look away, then look back, double check, ensure that the magazine is empty, not a round in the chamber. Then they can do a mag change and re-engage.
And
Real world accurate.
And what is the practicality of that? It's either A, you're going to have a training scar to where you are going to be in engagement and you're going to do that dumb shit and you're going to...
Yeah, things going to be locked back while you're getting shot at and you're like...
Or B...
How fast?
Yeah. Or B, more realistically, they're not going to freaking do that and they're just going to go for a reload, and if you don't train that, then like, shit, dude, like you're behind the curve now.
Because now, even if they are in the active mindset of, I don't need to do that, something's actively happening, in their mind they're missing those steps, so they're just going to second guess themselves. I'm like, wait, what am I supposed to do here?
100%.
Oh man. There was a guy that came and did some training with us one time, and he was just thought he was hot stuff because he had been with the FBI for a little while, and I was like, okay, whatever. But everything he was saying, I was like, man, this is probably great in the 80s, but those big boy guns that y'all talk about, everyone has them now. Everyone in this room is carrying more firepower than y'all had then, like, period.
One other thing I think that it comes down to, especially in the firearms world, and I think it carries over a little bit into the martial arts world, which I have not explored a whole lot into, but I see the correlation in the type of instructors. Some of the biggest egos for instructors are in firearms, and I've seen some of it in martial arts, but definitely in firearms. Those instructors want to be the know-all, be-all, and there is no such thing.
Yeah. This is the only way to do it, and if you're not doing it this way, you're just going to get yourself killed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Man.
Well, that goes back. I mean, that goes back to like the whole reason why we started this company is because, like he said, we've been through a lot of freaking training. We've seen the good instructors, we've seen the bad, and we've seen the freaking ugly. I mean, the good ones, we took bits and parts or whatnot. The bad ones, there are still things we can kind of pick up, or at least like, I'm not going to do that, and here's why. But the things we picked up, and it's like the training that we have local, like around here for law enforcement and especially for civilians is, I mean, we've seen some of the training people that come in, and we've seen their classes. I ain't going to bash anybody, but it's not good. It's not good. It's not freaking practical. And I got to the point where we're like, dude, we could do this, and we could do it so much freaking better. And we're not those guys that, like you said, like, this is the way, in our concealed classes, we, not every single freaking gun's going to be the one that you need to shoot. Everyone's different. We're not going to say shoot a 9, shoot a 40, shoot a Glock, shoot a Walther, whatever. Everyone's going to be different. And I mean, at the end of the freaking day, like, I mean, that's not how to do it. It's you know what you want to defeat. Like, when it comes to the principles, as long as we're however, like, talking about the grip, we show a grip, but at the end of the day, everyone's going to be different too. So we're not saying this is the way, but like, understanding what you're trying to accomplish with that, as long as you're accomplishing it, cool. That's what we want.
And that's what I appreciate too, is like, y'all give a reason, like, hey, we do it this way, and then you tell why and explain what you're trying to get out of it, not just this is how you do it. Like, well, this is how we do it because of X, Y, and Z, and because this will help it stabilize because we've proven it. Like that's what we do. That's how we can shoot this way. Like,
and if someone does want to, like, yep, we're going to do it exactly how they're talking about. Well, it's been trial and error from us for years.
Yeah,
like it's been trial and error. I don't do it this because of this. I do it this because this.
Yeah.
So yeah, people can't fast track if you know.
And even like people, the day we were out there, like trying different things. Like, I know for a minute somebody was talking about doing a mag change, but which way to have pointed, the mag pointed.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, just do it both ways. See which one works best for you, does the best for you. And I mean, everybody was like, oh yeah, okay, well, it worked for you, great, cool, then do it that way, but do it that way all the time. Like,
and in order, and we both work with and train some law enforcement dudes that are just, they are stubborn. Well, this is the way that I've always carried my mag, or this is the way that I've always done this. And one thing that we've really started doing that has kind of helped it resonate with people, and even after they see the data, they still are stubborn. We put the shit on a timer. Like, okay, you're saying that the way that you're doing this is faster, more efficient, and more effective. Cool. Do it your way, and then try it the way that we're trying to explain to you. And we put that shit on a timer, and we're like, all right, cool. It took you 3 seconds longer to do it your way than it did doing the way that we're trying to show you, because the whole purpose isn't do it because we're telling you to do it. That we have worked through these problems, and we have sought out other dudes that have been like, hey, help us understand, help us get better. And then some of the things that we've been shown, we've gone out and we've worked through it, and it's like, okay, in this particular application, it doesn't, I mean, yes, it can work or everything, but in this particular application, we need to move to a different direction. But most of the guys that we're seeking out knowledge, they've been through it too, and they've done the trial and error, and like, okay, this is what we found work, and this is what we found that didn't work, and this is the direction that we're going. But some people are just stubborn, and they don't want to, that ego gets in the way again, and they don't want to, it's almost like they're admitting that they're wrong, but they're not really wrong.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was a little bit resistant whenever we first started getting into the dots, and it was just almost kind of like a thing of, it's like, okay, I'm going to try this, but I don't know if it's going to work. And, you know, things as simple as changing up the grip and the pressure and all that shit. I'm like, well, that's not how I've ever been taught. I've always been taught this.
Yep.
And working through those things, like, holy shit. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Same for me. Like, I grew up, when I was doing it, it was always like your dominant hand is the most pressure, and then the other one's just supporting. And it's like, when I started getting it the other way, even still, like, sometimes I got to think about it for a second to redo it, fix it. But it makes such a big difference for me, you know? So it's like, okay, this makes a whole lot of sense to do. But then it's just training out of it.
Yeah. And I was always taught, I mean, for over 25 years, support hand, all it is, it just hangs out. And it's just, and even with a good firm grip on your dominant hand, you can still see that gun shifting, and you can feel it.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, well, I'm not managing this recoil, but that's how I was always taught. No. This just kind of, you could shoot one-handed, and it's just fine. So what's that support hand really doing?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Which I think is funny when people go finally shoot offhand, and they're like, oh, this is I struggle doing this. And it's like, well, maybe you should put more pressure on that. Like, maybe that would help you both ways. Like, okay, so what's the difference in basic pistol training and advanced pistol training? So what are you doing in that new class?
In the advanced, that's where we actually get into shooting on the move, doing fast shooting, bringing, like Smith has talked about before, in order to measure our improvement, speed and accuracy, we have to have both. We have to work on both and then bring both of them together. So with that advanced, and I know that there are some instructors that say there is no such thing as advanced shooting, and you know, I think that's an argument that I'm not going to take somebody that has never shot before and put them through a field course.
Go as fast as you can. It's
multiple targets,
Yeah.
shooting on the move, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, someone's never
Yeah.
done it before or has done it very little, just on their property in
Yeah.
the back,
Oh,
in
that's
the,
just
in
like
the cleanest environment they can,
So, speed and accuracy, though. I know even on the basic, like we start putting the timer involved, not because we're like, hey, go fast. But, how many people, especially brand new shooters, like how many people know what a one shot from the draw is?
Yep.
Probably the majority don't. And that's just knowledge for them. And then you got something, you got your baseline.
Yep.
And you're like, all right, this is what we progress. Now you know what to beat, what to strive for. And then advance, as you said, speed and accuracy. It's two things, the two factors that we look at when it comes to the skill of shooting. You start really putting those together, and then we can start driving. I mean, I've said it before on this, but I could look at it like the evolution of training, and the sky's the freaking limit. I mean, you can always get better. We can always get better. Mm-hmm. We have a long ways to go. Mm-hmm. But you just keep pushing, and that's the two things. And then there's a time for accuracy, there's a time for speed, and then you got to put those together, make it practical, and it's a lot of fun.
The advanced, are you also working from concealed on that one, or is that where you're starting to go into like a yeah? Just because most people, that's what they need more. Yeah.
I guess
I wish law enforcement would train more concealed.
Yeah.
Because we carry our duty holsters and stuff that. But when we're not working, we're running concealed.
Yeah.
So
And we're
I
supposed to be
think
carrying.
that we should.
and
I
we
think
have a duty to intervene. Yeah.
we should do
Well, even
training
more
with
even like your special units, narcs or whatever.
Yeah.
They're all carrying concealed.
And
how often do they train with it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But best way I can kind of put it as far as like the basic to enhance or advanced in doing that is like, what's the age kids start driving nowadays? 16. So putting a 16-year-old brand new driver is like, all right, go get on that NASCAR track and have at it.
Yep.
That ain't gonna go well. I mean,
that could be interesting.
that could be interesting. I mean, hell, kids nowadays with the video games, they might be great at it. But I mean, that's the best kind of like comparison is like, putting a brand new driver and all right. Indy
So my years of
500
playing
go.
Call of Duty didn't transfer to.
Can
I thought that's what they always say. Like that's why
Did you
teens
know
are so bad. Is because
Practical, and then there's
Did you know that
overconfidence.
they call it a COD tournament? Like
Yeah, I'm sure
they- I'm
there's
sure
an
they make
actual
lots of money.
tournament
Yeah.
for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's people's full-time job, man.
No, it's not.
100%.
To
100%.
play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
There's 5 different streaming services that's all they do.
Brother, it's not just
Play
Call of Duty. It's pick a video game. I'm sure they.
Yeah.
Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Really?
I guarantee
Crap.
you can go on Twitch right now and there will be somebody live streaming them playing Pac-Man and
People
talking
pay.
you through it.
What's Twitch?
They make more money.
It's just a streaming service like YouTube.
Oh.
But it's for gamers. So they you sit there and watch them play video games. So now we've gotten to a point of not just you spending time playing video games, now you just sit there and watch someone else play the video game. Okay, so another class y'all are starting to offer is the Red Dot class. Tell me about that one.
That one's
You just put a
different.
red dot on your hand. Or
Just
something?
slap it on there.
Just paint it there. You paint a red dot on your gun. Means you went through the class. Good to go.
Yeah, totally. Not so much.
So there are some different nuances to the dot versus the iron sights. I mean, the basic fundamentals are the same. It's becoming more threat focused, and that's a weird transition for some people, especially shooting irons and even shooting the dot. Because a lot of times we get ingrained. I have to see my sight. I have to see my sight. I have to see my sight. Well, if you're gripping the gun correctly and your focus is correct, that sight's going to just
Be there.
be there. But one thing that I've seen, and I had this whenever I first started running a dot, is I want to stay focused on a particular spot on my target, my threat, whatever it is. Well, my eyes have a natural tendency, if it catches movement, then my eyes want to track that movement. So getting out of that where when I see that dot bounce up, instead of my eyes tracking that dot going up or down or whatever, I stay focused wherever it is that I'm wanting to shoot, and then allow that dot to settle back down. Or whenever it comes back down, I'm painting that target. It's there. I press the trigger again. But we do a lot of dry fire drills with that. We start kind of the same way. We don't start out from the holster. We'll start out from a low ready presentation and then just get them to where as soon as they present the gun up, they're just presenting straight up. I got the dot. I do some trigger presses and then work into the draw from the holster. Because a lot of times whenever people they'll work their dry fire, and I don't think that they work the dry fire correctly. I think a lot of people will, whenever they dry fire, they just bring the gun up, everything's there, they press the trigger one time, they cycle the slide, and then they come back down. Anytime I dry fire, I'll do from a low ready presentation, and on the beep or whatever, I'm presenting up as fast as I can, and dots are pink, press, but I'm going to sit there and just keep pressing that trigger, and I'm watching that dot to see if it's bouncing around, make sure my grip pressure is correct, and then I'll go from the draw, because once you implement the draw from the holster, whether it's concealment, duty, holster, whatever, there's a whole lot of extra movement in there, and if I'm going too fast, then I'm not getting the correct presentation, or I haven't worked it correctly to get that draw to full presentation. I think most people, with the dry fire specifically, they do that one trigger press, and they're like, oh yeah, everything looked great.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect. Well, what about trigger press 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? And what am I doing to that weapon as I'm pressing that trigger continuously? And then that actually translates over to going out and shooting shooting fast, because I know that I've worked that pressure, and I can actually start to feel, okay, I'm losing my grip here. I need to clamp back down, whatever it is, where I'm snatching that gun every single time I press the trigger instead of just letting that index finger move independently. So we work a lot of that stuff, transitioning or indexing to either multiple targets or different spots on the target. Just working a lot of focus.
And we've seen too, like the people that have transferred over and they want to get proficient at a red dot, or they're putting it on just to try it for the first time. Like the biggest thing we see is, or the biggest complaint we get is that adjustment period, because it's different from irons, is, I present my gun and it takes me several seconds just to find the dot.
Yeah.
Well, there's just like anything you do, that you got to work it, but we get you on it, and getting that, that alone is going to build confidence for the dot, and then once you get past that first stage, the benefits of the dot, they just go on and on and on and on. You really see them at distance, but then, like he was saying, when it comes to dry fire with iron sights, you're dry firing, you're focused on those sights, and you don't really see it. As a friend of ours, how she used to say it, the putting the jack in the box and making sure it's all lined up, all that good stuff. You don't really see it because it's so minute. You have a dot now, and just working dry fires on that dot, you're seeing exactly what that dot's doing, which is going to tell you, is my grip coming loose, and making the dry firing process with the dot it just takes it to a whole nother level. But that's one of the biggest complaints is, right off the bat when you switch to it, it's like, it takes me so long just to find the dot.
Yeah.
Well, there's ways to it, and then you get proficient at that, and then it just keeps building and building.
Because that's one of the biggest complaints I've always heard about people that just started is they're like, I can't find the dot.
Yep.
I'm like,
And so many people who are old school, like, I've always shot irons. Which, there's nothing wrong with irons, but the dot's better. That's hands down. But crap, where was I going with that?
I don't know, but while you're thinking about that,
Yeah.
that was one thing that I noticed once I finally did start figuring out the dot, was that it makes you have the correct grip and the correct presentation.
Yeah.
If you don't have the correct grip and you don't have the correct presentation, You're not going to see the dot.
You're not gonna see it.
But
Yeah.
if it's correct, and I present up, the one thing that I did have trouble with, I'm cross dominant, so I shoot right-handed. I'm left-eye dominant, and shooting irons, I'd always just present straight out over the bridge of my nose and all that other kind of jazz. But with that dot, I noticed on my presentation, whenever I present out, I could see the dot sometimes I wouldn't. And one of the dudes that we shoot with, he's the same as me, and he's been shooting a dot for years and years and years. He's a competition shooter, and he's like, well, present to your left eye. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, just present to your left eye.
Something so simple.
Yeah.
Really? And it's not like I'm shifting way over here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very, very simple. And it's just, boom, it's there.
Since we talked about that last time, my dad's the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always had problems with my dots.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I told him that the other day while we were hunting. I was like, hey, just draw this and do it to your left eye. Like, think about going there instead of just coming straight up. And he was like, oh, I can find, that's a whole lot easier than it was. And I was like, yeah, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Like, so, okay.
And that was one of the very first red dot class I went to. I was so pissed off at the end of the day because, the instructor saying this is what is going to happen. Mm-hmm. What never fucking happened. And I'm just like, okay, I'm fucking something up. But I think as an instructor, I think this is one thing that kind of doesn't set us apart, but one thing that we really do make sure that we pay attention is to the individual shooter. And one question that we ask all the time is, what's your eye dominance? And if they say, oh, I'm right eye, are you 100% certain?
You really sure?
Because we're going to find out.
Yeah.
And there have been multiple
I'm
times.
left eye dominant.
Yeah. Where it's like, oh, shit. I'm
Had
left
no
eye
idea.
dominant.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And in normal life, you wouldn't know. I mean, there's rare
absolutely
times that
not.
you would figure that out.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
So really paying attention, and that's one thing I don't like about instructors teaching a quote-unquote curriculum. Well, this is our curriculum. This is what we teach. We're all each individuals. And if I'm not paying attention to that particular individual and what's going on with their body as they're shooting, their head, their eyes, if are they shifting their head, are they ducking their head, their grip, watching their hands, and all. If I'm not paying attention to that individual, then I'm going to miss something. And they're going to get frustrated to the point where if I'm telling them, hey, or Smith's saying, hey, this and this and this, and it's not happening for that person, okay, well, let's dive into it and figure out what's going on. And, but yeah, anyway, yeah.
I figured out what I was going to say.
What was it?
Well, like transitioning to the red dot, it can be frustrating at the beginning because, like I was talking about, finding that dot in your presentation. You get to the point where you draw, it's there. But there's that buffer period where you gotta train with it. It's a brand new tool. There's so many people that they get frustrated so quick and they're like, screw this, and I'm going back to irons. And they trash the dot because they don't
take the time to
take the time to figure it out. But once you figure it out, holy crap.
Yeah.
And the other to jump on that, most people don't want to. They aren't willing to put in the extra work because it does even take the dots out of the equation. Shooting is a perishable skill.
Yeah.
And it's something that I have to, and it doesn't require me to go out and shoot 1,000 rounds a month or anything like that. But people, I don't think that they fully understand how much work you have to put into shooting, especially pistol, rifle, the exact same way. But I think a lot of people think, oh, I can go to the range a couple times, I can hit that target a few times, everything's good, now I'm ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
But it takes a shit load of work and dedication.
And that's under no stress.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always gets me those guys that are like, you go out to do a qualification, and they're like, oh, I hadn't even shot since last time we were out here. And you're like, oh my gosh. Like, and then they wonder why they are sucking so bad. They're like,
Cops.
man, I don't understand.
See it all the time. Cops.
Like,
see it all the time.
When's the last time you got shot?
Oh,
what month did we
when
last
did we
year?
qual? Yeah.
Oh.
And then they have problems on the range, and you're like, well, are you surprised?
My gun's stuck in my holster.
Well, yeah, when was the last time you took it out of there? The last time we shot.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
Since learning the cross-eye thing,
Mm-hmm.
Going back to shooting iron sights, do you present to your left eye now?
Yes.
Has it made a difference?
Yes.
Like, you can tell a difference?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Glad you know, go ahead.
What?
Well, I was gonna say, I'm glad you brought that up because, like, shooting with the dot, when I go back to irons, I do the same thing. Like, I'm target focused, and it's made me a better iron
Yeah,
shooter.
I thought the same thing. It makes you more focused on it. Like, you think about things more because you're like, I mean, both of them. I think you can get away with some things sometimes, like being left or right or a little high or low on it. Dot kind of even more so can amplify that because, like, oh, I can see the dot and you're just pulling trigger.
Yeah.
But when you really like think about it, you're like, okay. And then you go switch to either one, it's something a little different. And then you're like, oh, I got to really look at this now and paying a little more attention. But
Yeah. Like, used to, and I've heard this for, several years, you know, even with iron sights, shoot with both eyes open, all this other stuff. I couldn't do it because the way that I presented the weapon, if I had both eyes open, I had like 6 sights out in front of me, and I was like, "Shit, I'm just
Pick
gonna
the middle."
I'm just gonna point that. But presenting to my left eye picks up that front post, and I can shoot with both eyes open, with irons, and I'm like, "Cool,
Yeah.
that's it right there."
yeah, that I did the same thing because growing up shooting mostly rifles and pistols, I was always taught to close my off eye, and then when I got into shotgun shooting, they were like, no, if you keep both of them open, and I hit way more, and I was like, I wonder if this works all the time. So I started doing it. I remember my dad being like, "Why are you keeping both of your eyes open?
Close that eye, boy.
I'm like, "No, I'm hitting fine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why, but
You're not even my real dad."
Okay, so then we have basic and advanced rifle training. So this is open for everybody, right? This isn't just a law enforcement. So, which I think a lot of people don't think about or do. They're just like, "Oh, I've got it. I'll go out and shoot a bunch of rounds." But explain these a little bit, like basic and advanced, kind of like the other one. So walking, then running. But what's happening in this class? What are we doing? What's it look like?
Basically the same thing,
Yeah, I was about to say,
but
yeah.
just with
With a
a
rifle.
rifle.
Yep.
And again, making sure people, because a lot of people have the AR platforms, and it's not just AR platforms, but any type of semi-automatic rifle platform. Just making sure people, a lot of people, especially people that watch a lot of TV and that hunt, they shoulder that rifle the same way that they shoulder their semi-automatic platform rifle. You know, deep in the pocket
Deep in
over
there,
here, coming across,
Hunched over
and
it,
doing all this other stuff. So we work with them on that, make sure that they know the functions, all that kind of jazz, and then do the exact same thing. Start from a low ready or a high ready presentation, working with their stance, and then building up to the exact same thing with a pistol. Just shooting faster, shooting accurate.
Speed neck.
Those we will go at a little more distance and need to. You know, about 1,000 yards is the closest that we get to the target.
Sorry, I was looking at
We
the
went
watch.
for long range.
I didn't catch that your watch is in like military time, and when the way you're holding it looks
Hell.
like it just says hell. I was
Or
like,
heli.
what?
Whoa!
No! Heli.
Change.
Yeah, 1,000-yard shots, huh?
Yeah.
No.
With your AR,
No.
with your 13-inch
No.
AR.
No.
They never hit
And these the rifle classes, they're not designed for, you know, teaching people how to assault targets or anything like that. That's not what it is designed for. If you are going to use that particular platform for self-defense, or if you just want to shoot for fun, there are ways that you can shoot faster, more accurate, shooting on the move, and unorthodox positions, all that kind of stuff. That goes away from the traditional, you know, put the buttstock in that pocket, lay down over that cheek weld, make sure all this. I mean, one, I don't want my head cocked over to the side. I want my head straight up and down, so my eyes are working the way that they're designed to work, getting that good horizontal peripheral, and gathering all the information that I need to gather, and just rolling on there. The front grip, that just like with the pistol, I see more mistakes on recoil management, even though a 223, 556, whatever you want to call it, doesn't have a lot of recoil. It does have recoil.
Yeah.
And people that don't control that front, I mean, that
bounce
thing
all over
just
the place.
all over
Yep.
the place. People, and same thing with the pistol, that support hand grip, super freaking important. Super important.
Yep.
You grip the shit out of that thing, and you're gonna that damn thing will run flat.
So, who is this class like designed for? Yeah, just guys who want to shoot rifles more, or using it in a self-defense scenario, or
All the above, really.
all of them.
All
Yeah.
of the above.
Yeah.
People that just want to get better.
And
Yeah.
and that could be the same as pistols. Like day one, you're picking up a rifle and you just
Yeah.
want to get good at it, or
Yeah.
at least know the ins and outs and the general, everything. Yeah, it's from the ground up.
One of the big, and I've talked to several people that want to come to some of these classes, and one of the disclaimers that they throw out is, well, I'm not looking to be like super tactical or anything. I want to learn how to shoot. We're not teaching tactical
Yeah.
shit. It's just, you want to learn how to shoot. You
We
want to get
can,
proficient. I mean,
But we're not in this. No.
but it's not like if you came to one of our rifle classes and you show up in full kit, we're going to tell you to take the kit off. I mean, there's,
Maybe you should just go home.
but no,
Probably that's the right one
it's
for
not
you.
it's not a super tactical environment and people yelling. No, we're here to learn how to shoot, learn some good fundamentals, and have a good time doing it. But if you want a super high speed, weird tactical thing, I guess I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean,
But going back to basic, you're just picking up a pistol, just picking up a rifle, and you want to learn. I mean, if you go to a class and you got that instructor that's trying to be all tactical, high speed, it's gonna be intimidating.
So, will it go as far as like transitioning from rifle to pistol, or is the rifle classes just rifle, or on the advanced?
For the most part, your rifle's just gonna be rifle, pistol's
Yeah.
just gonna be pistol. Now, if we can always.
Scale up.
Yeah, we can always do what we
Yeah.
want out there. So if we end up doing an advance, and people have been through the basic, and we're squared away shooters, and we want to keep pushing, then yeah, we can. Hell, what's to stop us? All right, go throw your secondary on.
Yeah.
And let's start working some transitions. Nothing wrong with that.
no, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So, bunch of different options on training, all kinds of stuff. From whether you're just bought your first gun, want to learn, you need to re-up or get your concealed carry, all kinds of stuff, and then from there continue on learning all kinds of stuff.
Just get better, get better,
Just get better.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
train. Get training.
Gotta train.
Get training.
Got to.
It's so important, and so few people do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's
Scary.
scary
Yeah.
and it's sad, but yeah, and just know that if you want to get better, you can go to classes all over the place. But if you don't put in the work, then you're never going to improve. You'll just flatline.
Yeah.
So the class is
And-
the class isn't what's going to make you better.
Right.
Yeah.
It's giving you the information so you can. Number one, when I go to the range, I can identify what's going on, why that round didn't go exactly where I wanted it to go. I can do my self-analysis, and I get that information. And the class is just designed to give you that skill to where I look at that and I say, okay, well, that round went there. I felt this, so I know this is what I did. This is the extra input. That the class is not designed to make you some badass shooter.
Yeah.
It's designed to give you information and show that you are capable of doing it when everything is done correctly. Now you go out and you put in the work. But
Shows you what to train,
Yeah.
how to train. You want to get better at this? Let's do this. You want to get better at this? Let's do this. You want to do practical stuff now? All right, do this. But not only flatline, though. It's like if you don't keep at it, keep training, keep working at it, you don't only flatline, you'll go backwards.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
So go check out defensespecialisttrainingteam.com for a whole list of all the classes offered and a description of all of them. and upcoming dates. They'll be posted. Same on social medias. Follow us on social media. And yeah, go train. Sign up for a class. Go train.
Specialist training team. We're on the Facebooks.
Mm-hmm. I think we're on Instagram too.
On the Instagrams.
I think so.
We're not good with social media, but we
suck.
try.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We'll
get there.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
Yeah, work in progress.
Yeah.
All good.
All good.
Cool.
Sweet.
See you.
See ya.
Right or out.